you so much for being on Filmspiration. I tried to get you on here, remember last time, and we were never able to make that happen. How you doing?
Okay, how are you? I'm
I'm doing
actually
good.
hanging in
Thank you,
there.
Diane. Diane, so I put out this post yesterday and actually received more response than I was probably ready to handle, or more than I thought I'd get. And so thank you for reaching out. So let's jump into it, Diane. Basically, you're an actress. What has life been like since COVID-19 and, self-quarantining, all that stuff?
Well, it's been an interesting ride. First of all, I'm an actress and I live alone. Okay, so
Mm.
I am isolated now that we are stay at home. As an actress, I just found out yesterday that because of the governor's stay at home order, that I was going to be in a film. God
Oh,
bless you.
sorry, thank you. See, sneezing into
Yes,
the crooks of your arm.
it's
Okay.
good habits. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
Gunfighter's Guide to the West. Oh, I'm sorry. We were supposed to start filming a Gunfighter's Guide to the West during April, and that's being put on hold. It was being filmed here in Arizona, and I have a speaking role in it. And
congratulations.
so that's on hold. It will happen, but it's just a question of when,
Yeah.
Um, and so it's a disappointment. But living alone, I live in a community of 55 and older
Yeah.
people. But like my neighbors across the street, we used to have cocktails periodically during the week. We'd watch the sunset together and whatever. And now we can't even do that.
Wow.
So I'm by myself all day. This morning I went to Costco. That's my social life, and I wear my mask. I have a mask that someone made because I don't know if I've been exposed or not. And I certainly don't want to, if I have been, expose anyone else. I know the mask that was made for me is not going to protect me from others. It's going to protect others from me just in case something happens. I have something.
I like that, Diane, because it sounds like you've already been very accepting of the reality before us. And excuse me, and I saw your post that said, it wasn't you that wrote it, but it was a graphic you shared that said, just for your information, the the longer you hold off on, staying at home, the more you're going to have to stay at home. And so you're obviously very conscious of the fact that, whether or not if you, not as in you, but like as in anyone, whether or
Right.
not any one of us know if we are infected, or if somebody else at Costco or wherever else is infected. It's about, you're taking the obvious and like the precautionary measures, correct?
Well, yeah, because it's really true. If everybody does take the precautionary measures, then we'll get rid of this virus. But if we have people that think they're invincible and it's not going to happen to them, I got news for them. It can happen to anybody. And
Yeah.
it's not because I'm 70 and I'm in what do they call it? A vulnerable a group of
Demographic.
people, demographic.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Thank you. Um, I'm a healthy 70, so I don't even consider myself really vulnerable. But who knows? Like if I were to catch it, if I already have it, if I've had it, I don't know. I was sick in January. I had a big cough and everything in January, but that was before we even knew about the coronavirus. So, and I wasn't anywhere.
and
But
another startling thing, Diane, that actually was brought to my attention through the news this week is that obviously the older demographic, your demographic, is of major concern, but there's actually a lot of young people that have the coronavirus as well. So, whereas it sounded like, ooh, young people are a little safer. They're not.
I
They're
think
not. You know what I mean? And so,
I
like,
think more of the deaths were more proportionately were more in the young people category than the older people category, from what I am seeing
mm,
it locally anyway. I, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe, and everybody needs to stay at home and um, keep that social distance. I mean, I bought a puzzle. I have a 750 piece puzzle that is driving me crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get to it. If I did 2 pieces, I got 2 pieces in today. I got the border done. I mean, it's very frustrating, but
Yeah.
you do things. I also, just so you know, Edgar, I study shamanism. So, and I have a teacher, and shamanism is a spiritual study about getting in touch with nature and everything. And we do a lot of meditation. So, I have the advantage of being okay with being by myself.
Mm.
And I've been alone. I've been single. I'm single. I've been single since 1982. Okay.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you have no problem being alone.
I have no problem being alone, but I'm a very social being. So
Mhm.
did go to a lot of networking events and lunches and meet friends for lunch and this acting community and doing all the things in acting. And you know, I've met
Yeah.
you in classes and things. So so my total social life is kind of null and void right now, but I am able to be by myself. And so I do use Netflix and I have Amazon Prime. But I also was a substitute teacher, so I lost a big source of my income, which you know was I worked usually 5 to 8 days a month at a
Okay, so you were currently a substitute teacher.
correct.
Wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
no,
Yeah.
I lost that job, and so I have no money for extras. I'm grateful that I have a pension and a tiny pension and a
Mhm.
tiny Social Security, so I can pay my bills.
Yeah.
But I lost a good $1,000 to $1,500 a month in income. With schools
Which
closing.
in addition to your Social Security and your pension, correct?
Correct.
Ooh, let's see your martini. Or is that a glass of water?
Oh no, it's my
Oh,
martini. It's got well, you know what I do with my martinis. You know, everybody thinks I'm like a little bit of an alky, you know, but
yeah.
I have a martini. But what I do is I save my dirty ice from when I shake it up.
Yeah.
And I usually only have one martini,
Yeah.
and but it's a 4 ouncer. But anyway, I have
Yeah.
one martini, and then I use the ice and refill the glass with the dirty ice left over from the shaking, and
Ah.
that's what this is. So and so sometimes my for my feeling, listen, I entertain myself. So for my feeling is that um,
Let's
it's a water martini is it's the glass. It's all about the glass.
but I loved that you called, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I love that you called it a quarantini.
Oh, that was yeah, and I'm not. I think I don't know if I coined that phrase or not, but everybody's using it now. It doesn't matter
You
who.
know,
It's a
hey,
cool phrase.
if drinking at home is gonna do it, and the alcoholics were already alcoholics before this, I'm pretty sure,
Oh yeah,
and if
exactly.
having a little drink is gonna help somebody out, why not? Everything in moderation, but why not? You know what I mean? So, kudos to your quarantinis. I really, really love that.
Well, I like I said, I entertain myself, and I dress up every day, Edgar. I'm telling you now, I'm fully made up. You can probably see, and this is from 4 o'clock this morning, so it may have worn
Ah,
out a little bit.
yeah,
But did my hair, showered,
yeah,
put my eye makeup on, and everything. Because for me, you know, I'm an image consultant as well. So,
mm,
and my company name was Close Encounters. To me, the way you look affects tremendously the way you feel.
yeah.
And so it's in these times of being alone, it's too easy to just get into a slump and just hang around in your pajamas and do nothing all day. That
Yeah,
the
because that
and
then
so
sorry to cut you off, Dan, but that was the next thing I wanted to go into was, um, you like you said, you have no problem being alone or entertaining yourself. Meanwhile, a lot of creative people, um, a lot of times have that creative energy and need an outlet. But really, if you think about it, time of seclusion, time to yourself with the world, you know, um, having to not bother you, having to leave you alone, that's actually a good time to maybe get that script written or that book read or, like just basically creative stuff.
exactly.
And I'm seeing a lot of great things emerge in, filmmaker, um, filmmaker groups on Facebook of like, hey, I'm gonna make a movie inside of my house or something like that. You know what I mean? And so that's the fun that I'm having in all this is not that it's a funny situation, but I mean the creativity that people are employing to get through this, and you obviously have no problem with that creativity, right? And two, but here's the thing, Diane, not just creativity, but creativity to guide your mind correctly through all this, right?
Exactly. So it's an introspection opportunity. So for all of us, and here's the shaman side of my personality coming in. Um, Creativity is not some doesn't come from the thoughts, from thinking. It comes from spirit. It comes from inside you, and this is an opportunity to be and to go inside and ask the universe. I call it the universe, God, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
what it's trying to tell you, me. What's it telling me about my life, and where do I go from here? What am I, how do I go inside and look for the opportunity in this crisis? So what is the opportunity on the other side of this? And there is an opportunity there. I'm not saying that it's a good thing, that
Yeah,
this is a good thing that's happening,
yeah,
but there is an opportunity. And I think, honestly, it's for the world to wake up. So um, I think it's an opportunity for us to all look at our own materialism, number one, especially with this economic crisis that's
yeah,
happening because of it. So I think it's like a whoa, and even for me, I don't have a big income, I can barely get by. But it's like I've been very extravagant in my life, and I spend way too much money on clothes, and it's making me look at the where I go into greed, where I go into being greedy and hoarding. I hoard clothes and jewelry, not high-end jewelry, but just fashion jewelry.
yeah.
I So it's an opportunity to look within, what I can do without.
And looking within sounds like reflection. It sounds like introspection. It sounds like an opportunity to maybe reconnect with the universe, with God, with that thing inside of all of us that, like you said, to just reconnect with that thing and really go inside. And I like that, Diane. I like that because I think a lot of, especially my generation and much younger generations, I'm not going to generalize, but I do want to say that, generally speaking, we live in a super fast-paced world nowadays, and so how many times are we ever forced to actually stop and reflect the way we're being forced to stop? And well, not not me. That's I'll go into that right now. I'm still going to work and everything, but I mean, how many times collectively as a planet has this happened where we are told, you know what, for reasons of a virus in this case, you all need to slow down. You all need to relax and take some time to yourselves.
So one of the things that my teacher, I keep bringing this up because I'm so blessed to have had stuff happen in my life that drove me to seek help. Okay. So help beyond psychiatry, but help with a shaman, because psychiatry wasn't working for me. But I learned one thing, that when we don't make the changes that we need to make, Mother Nature automatically always will restore itself to what it's supposed to be. And Mother Nature will always do something to balance itself out. So God, whatever you want to call it, you call it Mother Nature. It's just, everybody has a different way of looking at things.
Mhm.
But I see this as, I think it's an opportunity for every one of us to look at what it's telling us. Get your act together. Love each other. Be kind to each other. Be in service to each other. I don't know how I can be in service at this point. in terms of other than maybe talking to you now, and I don't know what you're going to do with this, but you have my permission to do whatever you want with it.
Thank you,
But
Dan. I appreciate that.
um, what can I do? I'm 70 years old. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I wrote a book. It's called Close Encounters of the Divine Kind, and where image reflects the truth. And that is my legacy. I have no children. So that is my story and the healing that I experienced through fashion and shamanism. And I always said growing up that when I got older, I wanted to age graciously, so I won't have plastic surgery, which I don't. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. And number two, I, excuse me, want to be a wise woman. I want to be able to give wisdom to the younger generations. I want to be a crone. I think that's why God gave me this white hair, because I get noticed all the time because of it, and people come to me. And so I just want to make a contribution still. I'm not done yet. I know I'm not done yet. So it's just all about, I get all choked up on this. I'm not sick, believe me.
Okay.
No, this is, you know, I have this thing, you know, you learn about the way your body has signals for you.
Yeah.
And mine is, I get a little bit of a cough when I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. Don't be nervous, Dan. Don't be anxious.
No, I know, it's just showing, it's just showing up right now. It, I have no control over it.
Well, we'll tell you what, Dan. I mean, like, here's what I can say. I think you are contributing with regards to being an older person. To like, let me tell you why I'm saying the following. I was that weird kid that always liked to tap the older people for like knowledge or advice or something, because I realized this. I'm touching my face as I shouldn't. I realized early on that, you know, like, if you could learn something from somebody who has knowledge or wisdom, from either their mistakes or their successes, then why not learn? So for me, that was a lot of older people. So you sharing everything that you just shared, you know, the depth of your message, I think that is your contribution. And I thank you for it. I honestly do, because it's within this space of my show, because there are a lot of, you know, in the realm of, you know, your acting life and my filmmaking life, there's a lot of creative people, who are kind of maybe just needing to hear, maybe not that I'm a shaman, I'm trying to give anybody direction, but, you know, maybe just they just need to hear a positive message, like it's going to be okay, and maybe this is happening for a reason, whatnot. So I really do thank you for that, Diane, because, um, you know, to hear stuff like that, from someone your age who's not scared to speak those truths, that's the best. That's the best, Diane. I mean, you know, you just saved, I don't know how many people, I don't know how much money on like self-help Tony Robbins books. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow, thank you.
And so, so yeah, I mean, that's there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe they're looking for direction or guidance, or maybe it's just something, again, that maybe some people just need to hear something positive, you know.
Well, I do know, honestly, Edgar, that um, we all have a learning to make it to learn from this. And I think it's all about, you know, there's a song by the Youngbloods, come smile on your brothers, let's get together and love one another.
Right.
And that is people, and that was in the movie Forrest Gump. That was one of the main songs in the movie Forrest Gump. And this is an opportunity. You know, I'm a hippie, okay? I was raised in the 60s, and I went to Woodstock. So
you went to the original Woodstock?
I did, and I still have my ticket.
Get out of here, Diane. That's awesome. Wow.
Well, I'm from Connecticut, so Woodstock was far away from where I lived, you know.
Yeah.
I was 20, and And do you
Wow.
know that at one point in my life, I actually met Bobby McGee, you
Really?
know, Janis Joplin's boyfriend, Bobby McGee.
I don't know too much about him, but I've
Yeah,
heard
well,
of
her
him.
song, Me and Bobby McGee. So I met the Bobby McGee
Wow.
one time. Um, couldn't remember much about it, but I did meet him. You know? So, but anyway, you know, so I'm a baby boomer, and we have a lot to offer, and I love the kids. I love subbing in the high schools because I go in there and honestly, I dress up every day, and the kids always want to know. Well, the biggest first question they ask me is that your hair, natural hair color? Because my face is younger than my hair, I guess. You know, they think I'm as old as I am.
Yeah.
Um, but "Oh, I like your makeup and I love your outfit and this and that." And do you know that when you dress up every day, you are impacting people? And people are, you're like, it's like seeing a garden, a beautiful garden. When you see someone all dressed up in beautiful colors or in an outfit that's well put together,
Yeah.
and it says how you feel about you
That's true.
and, and how you feel about the world. So make no mistake, tell people that it's important, really, to get up every day, take a shower, do your hair, do your makeup. For the men, do your shaving, um, put on some clothes and some nice clothes, and go to greet the day, like our Native Americans used to go to for the hunt.
Yeah.
They took pride in how, I mean, that's the way I remember reading about it and understanding it, that the indigenous cultures always dressed up because it's very important. It's very important to meet the day in your full glory.
I like that, Dan. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like to put it the way you just did is I'm pretty sure all the ladies like to look pretty. Guys, we like to look as good as we can. But to put it that way, I've never heard anybody put it that way, like the way you just described it. So,
Thank you.
um, one more question, Diane.
Okay.
So one thing, and I was talking with my wife about this the other day too, um, about the opportunity in every hardship, in every hard time. If you look, there's an opportunity, but an opportunity for what? Um, that sounds like obviously a message that you want people to take away from all of this is there are opportunities, but you have to like you said, you have to look inwardly to ask, what are those opportunities? What can I take away from all of this? What good will talk to me about just to close out about finding the opportunity even in the darkest of times.
Okay. And speaking of the darkest of times, this is it. And we all have a dark side. Okay. We all have a shadow.
Mhm,
Now, Peter Pan had a shadow. Okay.
mhm.
You know, did you ever notice the metaphor of Peter Pan losing his shadow? He had to come and he had to get his shadow back.
Yeah.
He had to meet the shadow. We all have a shadow, a little bit of a darkness in us, and we need to meet it and embrace it and find out what the fear is underneath the shadow. And so there's a book out by, I forget, Deborah Ford, I think is her name. It's called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers.
Cool.
And it's about there are a lot of us new age people that do a lot of light work. You know, we're trying to be good and spiritual and everything, but we have a dark side.
Yeah.
And until we meet and recognize that and embrace it, we're not going to find the opportunity. So we need to go in and embrace it and acknowledge it and heal it. Embrace it. My dark side was I felt unworthy. I felt unworthy of love most of my life, even though I always thought I had to be beautiful to be loved.
Yeah.
And I I'm 70 and I found a sort of a love in my life now. I learned how to love myself. That is that to me That's what I mean about a dark side. I don't mean that you're an evil person and that you go out and do evil things. That's not what I'm talking about, a shadow side. I'm talking about the shadow that holds us back from being the best that we can be. And in most cases, the common thread is feeling unworthy.
Yeah, I can
And,
see that.
or this is too good to be true and all that. That's all baloney. We deserve to have love, and we deserve to be successful, and we deserve to be healthy.
Yeah.
And we have to see ourselves. Here's my message: see ourselves as being healthy rather than focusing on the fear of getting the coronavirus. See ourselves, focus on being healthy. Breathe, breathe deeply every day. Take in life, take in love, take in life with your breath, and breathe out all the negativity. Breathe in the positive and breathe out the negative. That's what Spirit's telling me now. I did not plan this speech. I didn't even think about anything I was going to say to you, Edgar. So this is coming really from God or the universe or whatever.
Even better because it's authentic, and I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
Just to close out, your message to creatives out there, filmmakers, your actors and actresses, etc., who have this time, to be creative or to be at home. I mean, yeah, you've already dropped like 15, 20 different great messages, maybe some repeated through a variation. But I mean, anything else you want to say, Diane?
Yes, I will say this. One of the things that, as you know, Edgar, I'm sort of, it's only been 2 years that I started acting. It was a bucket list thing and I'm loving it.
Mhm.
I only want the roles that are suited for me, and for actors and actresses to not be worried if you don't get the role that you tried to get. There's always a reason, and there's always that someone else gets it or
Yeah.
you don't get it. Just keep going, keep practicing, and your time will come when it's right. It's right. When you let go and let God, or let go and let the universe speak through you and come to you, that's when it comes.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be in control. Allow life to happen. That doesn't mean you don't take the step to go to classes or whatever, but allow it. Let go that need to be in control and to get what you want. And I don't think, maybe Tony Robbins wouldn't agree with me, but I can tell you this: things happen for me when I let go and let God. That's when life comes to me.
Very true. I agree. And it's one of those things where I can agree. I can't explain it myself, but it's true. And that much I can say, Dan. Dan, thank you so much for being on Filmspiration, and any information that you want me to go ahead and put in the description. That way, people, like, let's say somebody out there sees this and sees you and says, I'd like to work with Diane, or I'd like to reach out to her to see. So any information that you'd like me to put so that people can contact you, just go ahead and send that to me. I believe you already did.
I will double check and send it to you on Messenger. Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine. And then I will put that in the description of the post when I get this out. And yeah, that way I hope people see the benefit of you as a person, you as just you, and hopefully reach out to you, those people that are meant to and want to reach out to you.
Exactly. And that's all I want, is the people that I'm supposed to help.
There you go. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Diane. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, let's get through this. Let's get through this.
Namaste.
And also let's utilize the time to look inwardly and see what this means for each one of us individually, um, as well as collectively, I guess, but definitely individually. So
Perfect.
yeah, let's get through.
It starts at one. It only takes one person to impact everybody else.
That's true.
That's all. It just takes one.
That's true. Well, in this case, for this episode, you are that one, Dan. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Edgar. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much, Dan. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.